When we last left off, we had taken a tour of the Steamtown railyards, exploring some of the most iconic and some of the more obscure pieces of the collection. But with all the Railfest activities going on, one had to ask, what trains were actually operating that day? Well, now here's the fun part, as there were two engines shuffling around the yard. Nickel Plate Road number 514, an Electromotive Division GP9 road switcher, would be operating caboose hops, while Baldwin Locomotive Works switcher number 26 would haul the Scranton Limited Yard Shuttle Excursions. Let's watch some clips of both these engines in action. Nearly all of Steamtown's passenger cars are of Central Railroad of New Jersey or Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western heritage, and were built anywhere between 1914 and 1930. Builders include Standard Steel, American Car and Foundry, Bethlehem Steel, and Pullman. While some of them were retired in the early 1970s and spent time at Steamtown's Vermont operation, others would serve into Conrail and NJ Transit Control, making it to Steamtown in the mid-80s. There are 14 of these cars in total. Nickel Plate 514 was built in 1958 by EMD for both yard and mainline work. It would also see service under Norfolk and Western when it acquired the Nickel Plate, and later Norfolk Southern when it acquired the N&W before joining the Steamtown collection in 1985. It has been a reliable runner for the museum ever since. Baldwin Locomotive Works No. 26 was built in March of 1929 by the BLW for moving engines and equipment around the facilities in Eddystone, alongside its twins No. 21 and 24, as well as 16 other Baldwin engines built for that purpose. After World War II, it would be purchased by the Jackson Steel and Iron Company in Ohio, working an extraordinarily long career for a steam locomotive. It is unknown exactly when it was retired, but 26 was saved from scrap by Jerry Joe Jacobson in 1979. It moved around a pair of his properties in Ohio until being traded in 1986 for Steamtown's Canadian National 10-wheeler, No. 1551. After restoration, No. 26 began excursion service in 1990. Various issues such as a bent frame, boiler and firebox replacements, and running gear troubles would elicit an extensive rebuild, being completed in 2016. Before we hopped on our own train ride, we were able to get an up-close and personal look at No. 26, including a seat in the cab.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Normally, 26 wears a single-chime hooter whistle, similar to many yard goats of its day. But during the Railfest weekend, it sported a Canadian National 5-chime that was worn by No. 3254. After the whistle blow, it was time for our ride on the Scranton Limited, which takes us on a 30-minute journey back and forth across the rail yard, then marches up a gradient over the Lackawanna River and past the Radisson at Lackawanna Station Hotel before stopping at the University of Scranton and returning to the Roundhouse. At the end of the trip, we would watch number 514 and number 26 roll onto the turntable and into their sheds. And that was our trip to Steamtown. We hope you enjoyed this journey through Railfest and the 30th anniversary celebration.